Today we're looking at political reform of the Progressive Era. Hello, welcome to the Daily Bellringer. Please don't forget to subscribe and take a look at the questions down in the description. Also, don't forget to check out dailybellringer.com where you'll find more resources that go with many of the Bellringer videos. The Progressive Era, which took place from the late 19th century to the early 20th century, was a time period of significant social and political change in the United States. One of the key aspects of this era was the push for government reform. During this time, various activists and leaders worked tirelessly for changes within government to give more power to the people, promoting fairness, transparency, and accountability within government. Reform or change occurred at every level of government, from local, state, and national institutions. In 1900, a massive hurricane struck the city of Galveston, Texas, killing over 8,000 people. In response to the disaster, Galveston established a 5-person commission of experts in different areas of city government, such as public safety or sewer repair, to help rebuild the city. The commission worked so well that the city permanently adopted the system. Other cities around the country began to adopt what became known as the Galveston Plan. As part of this new plan, many cities hired city managers who would operate cities as businesses, which improved efficiency within city governments. This also contributed to limiting the power of political machines and bosses that had come to dominate local governments in the late 1800s. Speaking of political machines, throughout the late 1800s, the machines had controlled who was running for political offices in many state and local elections, handpicking only the candidates that helped the machines maintain power. But in Wisconsin, Reform Governor Robert La Follette was able to institute direct primary elections in which the citizens were able to vote on who would be candidates for office in upcoming elections instead of the political machines deciding. By 1916, all but 4 states had adopted some form of direct primaries to choose candidates. As the American people were gaining more political influence, progressive leaders pushed for other ways in which more power could be given to American voters. In order to keep elected officials more accountable, many local and state governments began to adopt policies that gave the people more power and leverage within government. The initiative gave people the ability to propose new laws by collecting enough signatures from citizens on a petition. If they acquired enough support from citizens, then the proposed law would be directly voted on by the voters in the next election. Now citizens did not necessarily have to wait for elected lawmakers to propose new laws. Furthermore, referendums allowed voters to approve or reject laws that had been passed by legislatures. And then lastly, recalls gave voters the ability to remove government officials from office before the end of their terms if the official was not meeting the voters' expectations. Beyond state and local elections, during the Progressive Era, American voters gained significant power in federal or national elections as well. The U.S. Constitution in Article 1, Section 3 had given the power to elect senators to the U.S. Senate only to the elected state legislatures and not directly to the voters. In other words, only representatives in the state government could vote on who would be the senators for their state. The people could hold elections to advise state representatives on who to choose, but in the end, the state legislatures had the power. Progressive reformers sought to change this, believing that direct election of senators by the people would enhance democracy, reduce corruption, and make senators more accountable to the people. In 1912, the proposed amendment was introduced to Congress. It passed both the House and the Senate by the required 2/3 majority, and then went to the states for the required 3/4 of the states to approve it before it would be added to the Constitution. In April of 1913, Connecticut became the 36th state to approve it, and on May 31, 1913, the 17th Amendment was officially added to the U.S. Constitution, giving the American people the power to directly vote for members of the U.S. Senate. As mentioned earlier, progressive leaders such as Wisconsin Governor Robert La Follette championed change, instituting new ideas such as appointing university professors to draft laws and advise lawmakers. Additionally, other state governors, such as Theodore Roosevelt of New York, sought to institute fair hiring practices within state government, and Woodrow Wilson of New Jersey, who supported direct primary elections, both advanced political reform. Both Roosevelt and Wilson would go on to become President of the United States and bring their ideas to the federal level of government. The reform and change in the United States government during the Progressive Era would have a profound impact on the political landscape of the country and result in American voters having more power and influence in American democracy. So with that, hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching.